Welcome to Calm Before Dreams. A quiet place where gentle stories and soft atmospheres guide you toward peaceful rest. Tonight we step into a deeper, older world. A place where the forest is alive with quiet presence. Where the elements themselves seem to breathe, listen, and remember. Our journey will lead us through the elemental forest, where ancient whispers drift between trees, guiding you softly toward rest. I'm Atlas, and I'll be your narrator for this evening's story, The Elemental Forest Where Ancient Whispers Guide You to Rest. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you are listening from tonight. Share it in the comments below. It's always comforting to see how far our calm little community stretches across the world. Now settle in. Take a slow, gentle breath. And allow the forest to welcome you, one quiet step at a time. Tonight, I step quietly into an ancient forest where every whisper of wind, every slow-moving stream, and every shadowed tree seems to carry an old and gentle wisdom. A wisdom that does not call loudly, but waits patiently, as if it has always known I would arrive. The air feels soft and cool against my skin, and the light, neither fully day nor fully night, settles into a calm silver-blue hush between the tall trunks. I pause at the edge of the path, aware that nothing here rushes me, nothing demands anything at all. The forest does not ask who I am or why I've come. It simply opens wide and quiet, offering a place to walk, to listen, to rest. If you are here with me now, listening in this moment, you might gently settle in as well, perhaps noticing where you are, the time of night, the quiet around you. I take a slow step forward, and the forest, ancient and patient, receives me. I move a little deeper along the narrow path, and with each step, something within me begins to slow, as if the forest itself is gently guiding the rhythm of my breath. I notice the quiet first, the kind of quiet that is not empty but full, like a soft presence resting all around me. The air feels cooler here, smoother somehow, brushing lightly against my face and hands. I let my shoulders loosen without forcing them, as though the forest is holding their weight for me. My breath begins to lengthen on its own, unhurried, steady, each inhale drawing in the faint scent of damp earth and distant pine, each exhale drifting away like a thought I no longer need to carry. There is no urgency here. No sense of needing to arrive anywhere else. The path beneath my feet feels soft with moss and thyme, and I become aware of the simple act of walking, heel then toe, slow and even. My body feels heavier, but in a comforting way, as if gravity has softened into something kind. Around me, the stillness deepens. The last traces of the outer world seem to fall away, not abruptly but gently, like leaves settling to the ground at the end of a long day. I realize I am being led not by direction but by feeling, a quiet invitation to go further, to let go a little more. The forest asks nothing of me. It does not measure, does not judge, does not expect. It simply welcomes, step by step, breath by breath, as I continue forward into its calm and patient embrace. I continue walking, and the forest slowly reveals itself with greater clarity, as though my eyes are learning a new way to see. It is the edge of evening here, that quiet, suspended moment when the day has not fully gone, and the night has not yet fully arrived. Everything is held in a soft balance, a silver-blue light resting gently between the tall, ancient trunks. The trees rise high above me, their bark dark and textured, carrying the marks of long, unhurried years. Some are straight and towering, others curved slightly as if shaped by wind and time. Their branches stretch outward and upward, weaving together into a vast canopy that filters the fading light into something calm and diffused. Nothing is harsh here. Every shadow feels soft, every outline slightly blurred, as though the forest prefers gentleness over sharpness. Beneath my feet, the ground is cushioned with moss, thick and cool, yielding quietly with each step I take. It carries the scent of damp earth, rich and grounding, mixed with the faint sweetness of cedar and the deeper, resinous note of pine. I breathe it in slowly, and it feels steadying, like something ancient settling within me. There is a sound to this place, but it is never loud. Above me, leaves shift softly, brushing against one another in a slow, whispering language. Somewhere deeper in the forest, I hear the distant call of an owl, low and measured, as if marking the gentle passage of time. The wind moves lightly through the branches, not rushing, only passing, like a quiet breath shared between the trees. And beneath it all, almost hidden, there is the sound of water. I cannot yet see it, but I can hear its steady movement, a stream flowing over stone, patient and continuous. It does not hurry toward anything. It simply moves as it always has, as it always will. The forest feels old in a way that is difficult to measure, not in years but in presence. It is not empty or forgotten. It is deeply alive, aware in a quiet, enduring way. As I walk, I begin to feel that I am not just moving through the forest, but being gently noticed by it, acknowledged without judgment, held within its calm and steady existence. And in this place, at this hour between day and night, everything seems to exist exactly as it should, unrushed, undisturbed, and quietly whole. As I move further along the path, the forest begins to reveal its quiet rhythms, the gentle patterns of life that continue whether I am here to notice them or not. Nothing feels arranged for me, and yet everything unfolds in a way that feels steady and complete, as though each small motion belongs exactly where it is. The sound of water grows a little clearer now, and through the trees I catch glimpses of a narrow stream making its way over smooth stones. It does not rush or struggle. It simply follows its path, curving softly around roots and fallen branches, continuing onward with a calm persistence that asks for nothing and resists nothing. Above, the leaves shift again, but more slowly now, as if settling for the night. Small birds move through the branches, their movements brief and purposeful, each one finding its place among the sheltering limbs. I hear the faint rustle of wings, then stillness as they tuck themselves into hidden nests, becoming part of the quiet. Closer to the ground, there are softer movements. Something small passes through the ferns, barely disturbing them, a gentle presence weaving between roots and shadows. It does not linger, and it does not need to be seen. Its path is its own, and it follows it without hesitation. The trees stand all around me, not as individuals but as companions. Their trunks rise side by side, their branches crossing and leaning toward one another in a kind of silent understanding. Occasionally, I hear the faint creak of wood adjusting as the evening cools, a slow, natural sound that carries no urgency, only age and patience. Everything here follows its own quiet cycle: movement, stillness, rest, and beginning again. There is no effort to change this rhythm, no need to hurry it forward or hold it back. The forest continues as it always has, steady and untroubled, inviting me to simply walk within it and feel that same unhurried flow. As I continue along the path, I begin to sense that I am not entirely alone here, though the presence of others does not disturb the quiet. It feels as though certain lives are gently woven into the fabric of the forest, moving in harmony with its rhythms, never separate from it. A little further ahead, I notice a soft glow between the trees, warm, steady, and low to the ground. As I approach, I see an old forest keeper tending to a small lantern fixed to a wooden post beside the path. His movements are slow and careful, practiced through many evenings just like this one. He does not look surprised to see me. Instead, he simply adjusts the lantern, shielding the flame with one hand, making sure it burns quietly and evenly. He carries no sense of urgency. His presence feels like part of the forest itself, as though he has walked these paths for so long that his steps have blended into them. When he finishes, he pauses for a moment, resting his hand lightly against the post, then moves on without a word, disappearing softly between the trees. Not far from the sound of the stream, I glimpse another figure, a woman kneeling near the water's edge. She gathers small bundles of herbs, her hands moving gently among the leaves. Now and then she pauses as if listening, then continues, selecting each plant with quiet intention. She places them carefully into a woven basket beside her, never rushing, never taking more than she needs. Further still, near the roots of a great oak, I notice small carved shapes resting at its base. A woodcarver must have left them there, simple figures, smooth and worn, shaped by patient hands. The person is not present now, but their work remains, a quiet offering returned to the forest. None of them speak. None of them need to. Their lives unfold in small, steady actions, each one belonging to this place as naturally as the trees and the stream. As I walk on, I begin to notice something softer beneath the calm, a quiet layer of human weariness that does not disturb the forest, but gently rests within it. It is not heavy in a way that demands attention. It is simply there, like a long breath that has not yet fully been released. I see the forest keeper again, farther along the path, moving from one lantern to the next. His steps are steady but slow, shaped by many years of walking the same quiet routes. There is no strain in his movement, yet I can feel the weight of time carried in the careful way he lifts each hand, in the small pauses he allows himself between tasks. It is not a burden he resists. It is one he has learned to walk beside. By the stream, the woman gathers the last of her herbs as the light continues to fade. She sits for a moment longer than before, her hands resting in her lap, her gaze unfocused, as though her thoughts have wandered somewhere far beyond the trees. There is something she carries with her, old memories perhaps, but she does not push them away. She lets them settle just as the forest settles around her. Near the great oak, I now see the woodcarver seated quietly, shaping another small piece of wood. His hands move with patience, each motion deliberate and unhurried. The lines in his hands tell of long work, of repetition, of time passing steadily. He does not rush to finish. The carving becomes what it will in its own time. Nothing here feels dramatic or unresolved. The weariness is gentle, familiar, almost accepted. It is the quiet tiredness of living, of remembering, of continuing, and somehow within the forest, it does not feel out of place. It feels held, softened, as if this ancient place knows how to carry such things without needing to change them. I remain within the forest as the evening deepens, and time begins to move in a way that feels softer, less defined, as though it is no longer measured in moments, but in quiet cycles that repeat without urgency. Nothing here feels as if it begins or ends. Instead, everything gently continues. The forest keeper moves along his familiar path, lighting each lantern one by one. I notice how this happens every evening, not as a task to complete, but as a rhythm that belongs to the forest itself. Each small flame glows steadily, marking the path without breaking the calm. By morning they will dim, and by evening they will be lit again, just as they always have been. The stream continues its quiet journey, unchanged by the fading light. At dawn, I imagine, a thin mist will rise from its surface, drifting slowly between the trees. And by dusk, that same mist will return, settling once more into the low spaces, as if the forest is breathing in and out. Above me, the last birds have gone still, their songs giving way to silence. Soon, that silence will give way again to the soft stirrings of morning, when light returns and wings begin to move once more. It is a cycle that does not need to be marked or remembered. It simply happens again and again. The wind shifts gently, cooler now, carrying with it the quiet presence of night. I sense the moon rising somewhere beyond the canopy, unseen but certain. And later still, the stars will find their places just as they always do, steady and unchanging. Standing here, I feel that this forest has always known these rhythms, long before I arrived, and will continue to know them long after I leave. And within this steady flow, there is a quiet understanding. That rest is not something separate, but something woven naturally into the turning of all things. As I continue along the softly lit path, I begin to notice small gestures left quietly within the forest, simple moments of connection that pass without sound yet remain deeply felt. They do not interrupt the stillness. Instead, they seem to belong to it, like gentle ripples that fade without disturbing the surface. I see the forest keeper pause beside one of the lanterns, his hand resting briefly on its wooden frame. He adjusts it slightly, straightening it as though he has noticed another's touch upon it earlier in the day. There is care in this small act, a quiet acknowledgement that he is not the only one who walks these paths, even if words are never exchanged. Near the stream, I notice a small bundle placed carefully on a flat stone, a few sprigs of lavender tied together with a thin piece of twine. The herb gatherer is no longer there, but her presence lingers in this offering. It feels like something left not out of duty, but out of quiet thoughtfulness, a simple gesture meant for someone who will understand without needing explanation. Further along, I come upon a modest doorway set into the base of a tree, almost hidden by roots and moss. Outside it rests a wooden carving newly shaped, its surface smooth and warm in the lantern light. The woodcarver must have left it there, not to display but to share, to let it become part of the forest like everything else. For a moment, I sense that these lives, though separate, gently touch one another in ways that require no words. A shared understanding moves through these small actions. A recognition, a quiet kindness, a presence that does not need to be spoken aloud. I pause, feeling that even in silence, there is a warmth here, soft and steady, carried through the simplest of human moments. I walk a little deeper still, and without quite noticing when it begins, the movement of everything around me starts to soften even further. The path becomes less defined, fading gently into moss and shadow, as if it no longer needs to lead anywhere at all. My steps slow, then quiet, until they feel less like walking and more like simply being carried forward by the calm itself. The air shifts, becoming softer, almost still. A faint breeze moves past me, and I feel it not just against my skin, but within my thoughts, as though it is clearing space, brushing away the small, lingering tensions I had not realized I was holding. It does not force anything to leave. It simply passes through, and in doing so, leaves a quiet clarity behind. The sound of the stream draws closer again, though it feels different now. less like something I hear and more like something I feel. Its steady flow seems to carry away a subtle weight, as if anything I no longer need can be set down beside it, left to be gently taken and transformed into something lighter. The trees stand around me, taller, older, their presence deeper than before. I rest my awareness against them, and there is a sense of grounding, of being held in something steady and enduring. They do not move, do not hurry, do not change. And in their stillness, I begin to feel my own stillness settle. Ahead, I notice a small, quiet glow, a fire, low and contained within a hidden clearing. Its light is warm, steady, and calm, not flickering wildly but breathing slowly like everything else here. I move toward it, not with urgency but with ease, as though this is where I was always meant to arrive. And as I draw near, everything within me begins to quiet, gently, naturally, without effort. I come to rest at the edge of the small clearing, where the fire glows softly against the surrounding darkness. It is not large nor bright, but steady and warm, its light resting gently on the nearby stones and the low curve of moss that surrounds it. I lower myself slowly to the ground, feeling the softness beneath me, and allow my body to become still. Above, the branches part just enough for the night sky to reveal itself. The moon has risen, pale and quiet, its light filtering through the leaves in thin, silver strands that drift across the forest floor. The fire and the moon exist together without competing, each offering its own kind of calm. I do not feel the need to move anymore. The path that brought me here fades from my awareness, as though it no longer matters where I came from or where I might go next. There is only this moment, held gently between breath and stillness. Somewhere beyond the clearing, I know the forest keeper continues along his path, the lanterns glowing softly behind him. The herb gatherer has likely returned to her quiet dwelling, her basket set aside for the night. The woodcarver rests as well, his tools placed carefully beside unfinished work that will wait without impatience. The trees remain tall and unmoving. The stream continues its steady flow, unseen but constant. The wind moves lightly, then fades, then returns again in its own time. Nothing here reaches for an ending. Nothing closes or concludes. The forest does not finish its story. It simply continues, breathing slowly, holding everything within its quiet and patient presence, as I sit beside the fire and allow myself to rest within it. I stay a little longer in this quiet, noticing how gently everything continues without asking for my attention. The fire lowers into a calm, glowing bed of embers, its warmth steady and reassuring. The air feels even softer now, as if the forest itself has settled into rest alongside me. My breathing remains slow, unforced, rising and falling like the distant stream. I no longer follow sounds or thoughts. They come and go on their own, like wind passing through branches, leaving no trace behind. There is a quiet understanding here, that I do not need to do anything more. I am allowed to simply remain, to be carried by this stillness. And as the night deepens, the forest holds me gently, without movement, without expectation, surrounding me with a calm that feels endless and safe. And as I rest, the forest remains with me, quiet, watchful, and kind, allowing me to drift slowly and peacefully into stillness. Thank you for staying with me as we wandered through the quiet paths of the elemental forest, where ancient whispers moved gently through the trees, and each step led you deeper into stillness. If this journey brought you comfort, you're welcome to like and subscribe for more soothing stories to accompany your nights. Sleep deeply. Keep a soft sense of wonder. and let the forest's calm, steady presence guide you into peaceful rest.